Hey friends, I am actually driving to go see Endgame. I really don't have time to see this. It's pretty busy right now, but everyone is talking about it and I don't want to have it spoiled. So I'm just going to make time for it and just not sleep as much, which is pretty common for me. But I'm driving there right now, which is really fun. But yeah, I'm answering some of your questions for the Patreon. So let's start with Alexander's first one, which is pretty neat. It's actually about the Pixel, the lightweight one. I can confidently say it's going to come out sometime at the beginning of May. I have a contact with Google and they're going to send me something, and it's going to be probably around the 7th, I think, at Google I/O, probably the first day. Whatever Google is sending me is for sure like the Pixel Lite, which is really cool. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with that. I don't really know what's going to happen with the Pixel 4. News came out today at the earnings call for Google or Alphabet, and it pretty much said that their flagship, the Pixel 3 and 3 XL, didn't do so well. So that's interesting. They're kind of citing that there's just a lot of competition in the flagship tier, and that explains a lot of the reason why they're trying to go for that mid-range or that light range Pixel device. So we'll find out if that actually impacts what they do with the Pixel 4, whether they go for it or if they go for something that's just kind of crippled or mid-range. It's hard to tell. I really hope that they at least try to give it a good go this time, because I do like the Pixel line. I just don't like how they've executed on it. It's been kind of an issue. So there's that. Jeff asked a question about cooking tech. So I have a Nova Sous Vide, and that one's really awesome. I enjoy that a lot. It's just a new cooking method. If you haven't done any sous vide cooking, you really should give it a shot. Cooking's a lot of fun. I enjoy it quite a bit. But in terms of what I use the most often for cooking, it's got to be just I have this water heater thing that has a gooseneck on it, and that helps me with brewing coffee. So I don't know if that counts. Maybe. I need to do more cooking. It's just been hard to do that as much with how busy everything is, and hopefully I can cut back on some hours and replace some things and have a better life balance. And that's been a little bit rough figuring out how to do, because I like to do everything and I can't do everything, and I'm getting older and tired. Let's see, Alexander, I had another question that's kind of from last month, and I want to make sure I answer that. So it's pretty much my creative process. So I am not one of those creators that struggles with having enough ideas. I actually have too many ideas, and I have a huge kind of list or graveyard of ideas I've never been able to get to. I'll just attach a screenshot to that list in the post for this one, but we'll try that. That might be a little bit easier. But I just kind of think about topics or ideas or ways or a way to talk about a certain thing that I think would be clever or interesting, something that someone would want to click on, because click-through rate is so important on YouTube. But it's also just topics in general that I find personally interesting. So I kind of have to have both of that going on there. Sometimes you do some things that's just pretty typical of what you do as someone who makes videos on YouTube, and then the other part is just doing stuff that is unique or interesting to me, and hopefully other people, or packaging it in a way that other people would be interested in. So the fatal flaw of the foldable phone, first of all, that's a title that I came up with, and I thought, I love alliteration. I thought it was super interesting, and I ran across some information about the displays and the technology and some of the limitations of it, and I sat on that for about a month. I probably should have put it out a month ago, because once the Galaxy Fold came out, and all this craziness started happening, it probably took a lot of the wind out of its sails, and it probably would have done a lot better in terms of like the YouTube algorithm and all that stuff. Crazy things you have to think about. But I essentially have an Asana board, and I just come up with a ton of different ideas, and then based upon what makes sense at the time, or what other videos I have to make, or what seems more timely, I'll prioritize it differently. And then I script it out. I do a lot of research, and one of the things that I was really good at school in terms of all my research papers is they'll tell me they have like 10 sources, and then I'd come back with 50. Like, researching is not the hard part for me. It's just the writing of it all. So that's why I like to be pretty informed and give a lot of context for something going on. Like, I don't usually say something from a lack of knowledge. I may say something through opinion or intuition, but usually I feel like I clarify that pretty well. So I'll script it all out, and then I will. I started using a teleprompter recently, and that has really helped me out. I feel like I'm able to articulate myself better. I don't forget things, and it makes my recording sessions a lot faster and easier. And that ends up being something that is kind of a weird thing, because you almost like feel like you might be a robot when you're talking or reading your teleprompter. But I've gotten really good at not relying on it so much, and then also when I'm scripting to kind of write kind of somewhat free flow, what I would actually think, or what I would actually want to say. So I try to write naturally as well. So I'll record the take with the teleprompter, with my camera and everything, and then I'll put it into Final Cut Pro, and then I just edit the A-roll, so my talking head shots. I edit that first, and then kind of just figure out flow. And sometimes when you're watching it back, you'll see certain parts are like, oh, that should go in a different spot, or you'll say like, who actually cares? Like, that seems kind of like redundant, things like that. So I try to really edit it down pretty hard for flow and timeliness. I have the hardest time making short videos. I've tried over and over and over again to make videos that are like 5 to 7 minutes, and I fail at it. I don't know what happened. I think when you research a lot, it's hard to write, or hard to make videos that are small. So that's an interesting side effect of being well researched. And then I will look pretty much at all the articles and different things that align with what I was talking about, put it over it. Or if it's like, an actual product, I'm not talking about the news, I have a bunch of B-roll that I'll film that matches up with what I'm talking about. I just overlay it, and then I try to think of a clever thumbnail to go along that matches the title and everything else. I'm still learning a lot about that, but I feel like I'm getting better, and it's less cringy. Like, I'm realizing simple is going far, but I don't know, maybe you guys can be the judge of that. And then there's some YouTube insider, like, I don't know, baseball talk, where you figure out the title of the thumb, the description, and the tags, so that it aligns with itself. So it's kind of like SEO in a way, and you're trying to tell the algorithm, I call it the robot, what video you uploaded. So you try to make it really clear what you uploaded, and you have an audience or a viewer in mind, and you just target that person, and you upload it, and you pray and you look at the analytics of everything, and you go from there, and hopefully everything plays out pretty well. So that's the gist of the creative process. Most of the time I do not do random off the cuff stuff. I want to add a few of those types of things to my process, but it actually takes up a lot more time to do something like that. And I try to do some vlogging stuff, and holy cow, that was hard. So lots of respect for people who can do it well. A lot of people can just do vlogging and it's not actually all that interesting. So I don't like making bad content. So I always have to figure that out. How can I make this interesting? So I have a Waymo video coming up, and that one's been really hard for me to figure out because of all the variables with it. But I am at the movie theater, and I'm gonna go see Endgame. But thank you so much for your support. Wow, this is a 10 and a half minute video. Sorry about that. That's long. But I appreciate your support, and thank you for everything. All the kind words that you have for me, that you believe in me. It's just kind of crazy and humbling. And thanks for 50,000 subscribers. All right, have a great day.